All right, Lee. I know it's been a couple days or so since we jumped on. So some things that's going on right now in the NFL. I know we just talked about Kenneth Walker the third with the Seattle Seahawks. I didn't know. I mean, you just told me this, just a couple minutes ago. I thought he was under contract with the Seattle Seahawks, but like you said, they may not even they may not I want you to break that down a little bit because I didn't know the details around Kenneth Walker. I know he was on his I thought he had a longer contract, but you just enlightened me that his rookie contract is about to be up. So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, Kenneth Walker is one of those guys. You feel like he's been in the league a lot longer than he has been.
Yeah.
Good running back out of Michigan State. I used to watch him in college. He was a dynamic runner.
Yeah.
Has a lot of quickness, agilities. He can't hard to tackle in space. Can make the guy miss. Can get to the second level. The only problem is he's a little bit one dimensional. And by that, what I mean, he's not a really good pass protecting running back. I'm not saying he's bad. He's not elite at it. And then he's not known for being a pass catcher out the backfield. That being said, he was drafted I think in 2022, and this is the last year of his rookie contract. Of course, now they got to make a decision: are they going to extend him with a long-term deal, or will he get franchise tag? The GM John Schneider, he's not known for tagging players. I think he's only ever done it twice in the 16 years he's been the GM. So it kind of lends to they're probably going to go towards trying to get some sort of an extension done. The crux of this, of course, is going to be, can they come to terms?
Right.
Kenneth Walker, coming off the season that he just had, being a Super Bowl MVP on top of that, he's going to be looking to get paid. He's going to want the bag. He's going to want the money.
Yeah.
The injury history is just something I think that Seattle's going to be really concerned about. He's not been known to be a durable running back over an extended period of time. I think this last season was one of the best seasons he's had in terms of durability, but you also have to take into consideration the majority of this season, he's been sharing the ball with Charbonnet. True. He did take the load going into the playoffs, that's fine, but during the course of the entire season,
right,
he was a running back by committee, and I think that's what Seattle felt they had to do in order to preserve him the way that they did. You're not going to pay a running back top tier money if you have to rely on him just being a committee type of situation, and on top of that, not being able to rely on him on passing down type situations as well. We may come to a conclusion where he's not with Seattle next year.
Boy, that's that right there. To me, it caught me kind of off guard because, like you said, I really wasn't familiar with Kenneth Walker before this year. I wasn't familiar with him before this year at all. So I thought he was a veteran, had a contract, and everything was good. I know they had the 1-2 combo with him and Charbonnet, and I only really learned about these guys now because Seattle, they made a splash this year and they did what they did. I know you know about them because y'all play them twice a year. And like you said, you even knew him from back in college. But with Kenneth Walker, they did say on the Super Bowl broadcast, they did say he didn't have as good hands as Charbonnet. Charbonnet was really the out of the backfield kind of catching guy. And Kenneth Walker it seemed like to me then, this was lightning in a bottle for him this year. Because, I mean, it looked like he was truly unstoppable in this game. And I guess it was one of those things when it goes down in history, people are going to say, Kenneth Walker was the Super Bowl 60 MVP. And people are going to be like, well, who? One of those kind of things. So with you guys, with the Rams playing them twice a year since he's been in the league, has this been the most instrumental that he's been? Like, or has he always been kind of this guy, but just didn't get to know the?
No, I think, like I said, I think this, and you call it lightning in a bottle, right? He's shown flashes over the course of his career. He's always shown flashes. He's had some really, really good highlight reel type runs in the 4 years that he's been in the league.
Yeah.
It's just a lack of consistency, right? So with him playing, with us playing them, twice a season, a good chunk of those games, not a good chunk, but some of those games he didn't play because he was hurt.
Yeah.
And so when he's in the game and he has a couple of games where he's starting to make a name for himself and he's starting to make some plays, then he's out for 2 weeks, three
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
And then so that lack of continuity, lack of consistency, that causes him not to really kind of be up there with the top tier running backs.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's interesting how you brought this up because I'm really excited to see I'm just excited to see what's going to happen in this next season. Because I know we're going to talk about this coming up, but we're going to talk about in future podcasts. The draft and free agency and all of this stuff. So we got a lot of stuff coming up to talk about, and I know a lot of these players are going to be moving around. We'll see what Seattle does. Like you said, if they're not going to franchise him, then he's going to walk, and I could see them doing that too, because is he going to have another season like this again? Charbonnet is going to be back healthy. They could bring in another free agent running back and probably fill the gap that he missed out on, especially with him being so inconsistent. So yeah, that's going to be interesting, man. So let's pivot a little bit to talk about the Raiders, man.
Yeah.
They got the number one pick, and I know you got Max Crosby there. He just got big contract, and there has been rumors, things swirling around that hey, he could be moved. Teams are definitely calling for him, I believe, and I've heard him linked to several teams, but we don't know what's going to happen. New coach coming in, Clint Kubiak, and you got your running back, you got Max Crosby, and I think that's about all. Well, you got a tight end, you got Brock Bowers, you got a tight end.
Oh, that's
And
right.
and that's about all you got. So you got to do some building. Are they going to give up some picks, move down to gather more picks, or are they going to go and say, "Hey, we want that number one. We need a quarterback, and we're going to get Mendoza, and he's going to be our number one quarterback, our number one pick." So, I mean, what's your thoughts around this? With the Raiders.
I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know what they're gonna do. A total new regime, new
Yeah,
coach coming in, offensive minded guy. Max Crosby he didn't like the way the season ended, not just from a team perspective, but for how they handled him,
yeah,
kind of forcing him not to
yeah,
play because they're trying to tank, right, for that number one pick. Well, that's how it was perceived. And so I think he just recently had knee surgery as well,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know if it was a cleanup of scope or what, but I think I just read he had something done on his knee recently.
Mm.
I think Max. I don't think Max really wants to be there. He's saying all of the right things. He's like, look, he's keeping it strictly football. He's just concentrating on playing next season. He doesn't
Right.
care about all of the extracurriculars. That's what you're supposed to say. But I think deep down, with a guy like him who is so invested in, you know, giving the game his all, he would like for the team that he's with to have that same type of dedication, right,
Yeah,
towards the end goal.
yeah,
And I don't think he also wants to be part of another rebuild. Okay, so I may, it would be in his best interest to be traded to a contender, not just anywhere, but to a contender.
yeah,
Not sure if Raiders are inclined to do that. The Raiders are going to look out for their best interest, which they should to some degree. And so, we don't know what their mission is. We don't know what their process is. We don't know what it is that they're trying to achieve because there's just so much that they're missing,
yeah. They need a lot.
right? They need a lot. They need
Yeah,
a lot. They need to revamp the defense. They need weapons on offense. They need an offensive line because the offensive line is atrocious.
yeah.
All they got is a running back, a tight end, like you said, and Max Crosby. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
So there's so many different angles and so many different directions that they can go. They could actually take that number one pick, and I know we were going to get right into this as well, and they could package that for a mega deal. If somebody, you have another team out there that's in love with Mendoza, they can do that, or they can just go ahead and pick Mendoza themselves and make him their franchise quarterback, which that would be a good decision if you do the due diligence of putting the right pieces around him.
yeah,
But
yeah.
with Max Crosby, I'm thinking to myself, he is aging. He's in his prime. I'm not saying he's over the hill, but he's on that other half now of his career. If you could get a package for him, I think it would be in their best interest to do that, to try to add multiple pieces to that defense and then try to build that offense through the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I heard Max Crosby's name being brought up with teams. I mean, all over the league, right? So it's. How old is Max Crosby? I need to look that up. How
I
old
think
is
he's late 20s.
late 20s? Okay, so we know for a defensive end that's in their late 20s. I want
He's
to do.
28. He's
He's
28.
28. Okay.
And we know the way teams work is when they hit 30, they basically feel like that's the cutoff
That's the
age for
yeah.
defensive for edge rushers.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. Now check this out. Myles Garrett is 30. Okay, and
He's a
Myles
different
Garrett,
breed.
he
He's a
is
different breed. You can't compare people.
He
You
is a
can't compare
different
no one
breed.
to him. Yeah.
He is a different breed.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, in Max Crosby's case, he's going to enter into next season 29. So his birthday is in August. So he'll be August by the time next season starts.
Yeah, that's gonna be that is a risk for a team. I think if a team gets trades for Max Crosby, they have to know they're in this window right now. They're in You're in this 2-year window right now, and we need this impact player to go and do what we got to do, and they give up draft picks for that, and he for a team in that window, he'd definitely be worth the trade.
And I think that's what will actually help him land with a title contender, because I think you would only have those type of teams that would be willing to package a deal for him.
Right.
A team that has a window of winning right now, they're going to want him. You're not going to look at Cardinals or the bit like that. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But like, let's say Detroit, and I don't want to speak this into being, right? But teams like that, that would be a good move for them.
Yeah.
To sacrifice a pick or two. I wouldn't sacrifice a first round pick, but definitely like a second or third package to get him.
Yeah. Yeah, that would definitely be solid. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Philadelphia. That'd be good.
Greedy, because you're greedy. You're greedy. I know you was going to say that. You couldn't resist. You're just greedy, Lynx. Lynx are greedy. Yeah, we don't. Nobody need that. No. Fix the offense first, eh?
Yeah,
Fix the offense first. Figure that out.
Let's try.
Yeah, let's stocking that defense, man. Leave the defense alone.
Oh man, hey, we got to maximize. We got to maximize Vic 1 year while we can. Vic can be gone.
Did he? So he is coming back.
He's coming back. They convinced him to come back for 1 year, so he'll be back for 1 year.
Boy, I wonder how much begging and pleading they did.
Boy, they was groveling. They was groveling. I would have groveled too. Yeah, because look,
how he was like, you don't even have to see Nick. You ain't got to be in the same room.
Right. You just come on the other
your
side.
Own thing.
Right. You don't even need to be there. Yeah, man. But so all right, we got Kenneth Walker, we got Max Crosby. What about in Dallas with George Pickens? Right. So that's a situation there where the Cowboys really need to figure out what are they going to do with George Pickens. Like, he had a great year coming from Pittsburgh. One of those receivers that was causing issues in Pittsburgh, had to get out of there. Went to Dallas, well behaved, did his thing, stepped in when CeeDee Lamb was out, led the team. He led the team regardless. If they franchise tag him, I think that could cause some contention. I know he wants the long-term contract. I don't know if Jerry is going to give him a long-term contract right now. I think Dallas wants him to prove again that he could do what he did last year again next year. And so I could see Dallas definitely franchise tagging him, but I could see him going off the handle with that too.
Well, I mean, whether they want to or not, they got a money problem right now, right? Because they got everything kind of tied up with Dak, with CD, right? And it's going to be hard to try to float 2 wide receivers with max contracts like that. Or even if you do franchise tag him, you're looking at about somewhere around $28 million. Yeah. So you got 34 in CD, and you have 28 with with Pickens,
Yeah.
I mean, what you going to do? Like, you still need to build a team around these guys, which is the problem that they had last season.
Right.
Okay, so you're just coming right back, and you're just running it again, and you're not in a position to have the ability to add quality pieces unless you really hit on this draft, which they're capable of doing,
Yeah.
especially if they draft someone like Caleb Downs or someone like that on the defensive side.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with Pickens, the way he played last season, he did play really good.
Yeah.
There were a couple of games where CD Lamb was out, and Pickens was, he took on that number one spot.
Yeah.
And he contributed. But there were a couple of games coming down the stretch where, for whatever reason, he showed a lack of interest. You didn't see the effort. Now, you want to give the benefit of the doubt and say maybe he was hurt, maybe there was something lingering, there was something going on.
Yeah.
But when you look at the body language, it was the body language that I think really concerned people. It felt as if he was just disinterested in playing in those games. Just a lack of, effort.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing you can have, and the worst thing you can show being a football player. When you're injured, you still want to show, if you're going to be on that field,
right?
If you're going to be on that field, even if you're hurt, you got a lot of people who are playing, they're hurt. The least you can do is show effort. And he didn't show that for those couple of games. And I think that also kind of plays into the decisioning on whether or not they feel comfortable giving him a long-term deal, because these were some of the same traits that he was exhibiting when he was with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Right. So Jerry, Jerry's showing like he'll play hardball. Like he'll do whatever he feel is good for him. Not really the team, not the fans, but for him. Like if it's good for him, then he'll do it. If it's not, then you're out the door.
True.
They got a whole bunch of picks now based, from that Micah Parsons trade. So they don't need to trade him. They don't need picks. You may see a situation if CD Lamb, because he did talk about this, he did say that he is willing to kind of make some moves with his contract to alleviate some pressure on the finances for the Dallas Cowboys to create space for George Pickens to get signed. Let's see if that happens. If they can be creative with that, move some of his money up front, pay him, or move it to the back, however that works. I'm not a financial guy, but whatever they need to do to move the money around. Yeah. With these other contracts to free it up for him, they may have to do something like that in order to get this.
Check this out. So if they do a contract, work something out, and they get a contract, is CD Lamb going to be okay with George Pickens making more money than him?
He's not going to make more money, Links. No.
I don't think so?
He's not going to make more. No, I don't think they're going to do that.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to do that. Yeah. He's not going to make more money than CD.
All right. Yeah.
I doubt that happens. Yeah. Yeah.
That would really blow up things in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy with it. Yeah, happy they blow
with the blow up.
With the blow up. Yeah, I'll be happy with the blow up, man. Yeah, because they were, and no lie, they were really dangerous, with those two guys. They were dangerous this year. They really opened it up for Dak. Dak had, a really good year under center. And so, I don't mind. You ship him off somewhere, send him somewhere. I don't know. It don't make a difference. Yeah. So one other thing I want to ask you real quick. Is Trey Hendrickson staying with the Bengals, man? He's gone. You think he's gone?
Yeah, man. Like so you had that big to do last year about them, not really wanting to sign him.
Right.
He's over 30. He's 31 now, or he will be 31 going into next season. And it was just too much going on last year just to get that deal done.
Right.
I don't see them going through that again. They're not going to give him a long-term deal.
Yeah. And was he healthy? I mean, he wasn't healthy, but what I'm trying to get at is, was this a drop off or a signal, being his age and now it's just over, or, you think he still got something left in the tank?
I think he still got some left in the tank, because I think you have to take into consideration the first half of his career. There was not a lot of wear and tear on him.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 7 games he did play, he had 4 sacks in 7 games. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Okay. I think, and we talked about this going into this season, when you have these players, right, where they hold out, not just these players, but especially on the defensive line side, the edge rushers,
Right.
You always see these situations when they're not in training camp, they're not getting the reps, they're not getting the treatment, right, going into the season because they're holding out. And then when they start, they play fast, the body's not ready, and they end up getting hurt.
True. True.
Okay.
Yeah.
It even happened with Aaron Donald that season, that when he held out during it was a quiet holdout
Yeah.
before he got his first big contract, and he had some soft tissue issues. Now, it wasn't major, thank goodness, but it derailed him.
Yeah.
Still had a Pro Bowl year, all pro year, but he wasn't, he wasn't working at, at 100, running at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now with Trey, same thing. He didn't get the treatment. He didn't get the reps. He didn't go through training camp. He plays, and then you have a situation like this.
Yeah.
Look at Micah Parsons. He didn't
True.
play.
Yeah.
He didn't go through training camp, and then he actually ends up getting injured.
Right. Yeah.
Some people can say, "Oh, well, that's not the same as a coincidence. The injury, that's a knee issue." I mean, look, everything. I think it's all connected.
Yeah, it is.
So when you have an edge rusher, try to get in front of it, man.
Yeah.
Don't wait till you get into the middle of the off season before you try to address the contract. Get that stuff done so that they could get in, get their get in front of your trainers and get them right before the season starts.
Yeah. 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 After all, at the end of the day, this is the Bengals, and we know, how they operate, and I know Zach Taylor. He's one of the coaches, I believe, that's on the hot seat for this year. You don't think so?
He's not. No.
You think he's safe, no matter what?
The Bengals. It's the Bengals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thinking he was
It's
going
the
to be on the
Bengals.
hot seat, man. But yeah, you might have a point there.
Yeah, that's the Bengals. No, the last coach he played he coached 14 seasons, something like that. Never won a playoff game.
Yeah, yeah.
Never won a playoff game, and he was a minority. So I mean, look. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
they Bengals don't care.
Yeah.
They don't
That's
care.
funny, man. That's funny. Yeah, I definitely I didn't think of it like that, but yeah, the Bengals. Marvin Lewis was there forever. So
Right.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man. So I know we got coming up. We're gonna talk about some top teams. What we think about coming up for next year for free agency. We got the draft in April. We got free agency coming up before that. We got a lot of movement that's gonna be happening coming up, man. Free agency, I think this year is gonna be hot. I think is really going to be hot. There's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of people hurt with players
But
that they like moving, man.
they're no big names though.
They're
Not big
really
names.
big names, but I think it's more instrumental players that kind of fit into, they're at that point where it's like, am I going to stay with this team and continue to, the team could be a top tier team if they stay, and if they leave and they go for the money, which, hey, you really can't blame them, then you might be on a team where you're not even going to have that. You're not going to be winning. I mean, you get paid, but you're
Right.
not going to be winning. So that's a question that I often think to myself and ask myself, if I'm on a team that I know could potentially win a Super Bowl, do I go to try to get this Super Bowl and take less money to stay with the team, or do I just get this big contract and leave and know, hey, there's a possibility I won't ever even sniff a Super Bowl?
To be honest with you, right? Because I used to think about that from time to time as well. That question is more for a fan to answer and to debate on. When you are a player in the
Yeah.
NFL,
Yeah,
and you sacrificing
yeah,
your time, you're sacrificing your body, okay? You're sacrificing maybe some mental health. At the end of the day, you're going to try to get as much money as you can to secure, right, your family's legacy. You want to
Yeah.
make sure that this sacrifice does not go in vain. Yes, if it leads to a Super Bowl and everything kind of lines up for that, because it happens to a few players in that situation, yeah, you go ahead and you do that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, especially if it's your first contract,
Yeah.
you try to get as much. It doesn't matter. You try to get as much money as you possibly can, because you're not guaranteed longevity in this league.
Yeah.
Now, if you happen to be a seasoned veteran, you've already got your bag, right? Maybe even two
Right.
major contracts.
Right.
Then you could see yourself, I could see yourself in a situation like, you know what? The money doesn't matter. I want to win.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like right now, Kirk Cousins, if he finds himself in a situation where he can align himself with a team that is just a quarterback away,
Mhm.
he's not gonna worry about the money.
Yeah.
He made a lot.
Yeah. He made a.
But for someone like Kenneth Walker, luckily for him, he's got a Super Bowl on the rookie deal.
That's right. Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
you need to go get as much money as you possibly can. You're a running back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
You're a running back. You're not guaranteed another contract after this.
Yeah. That is true.
Right. So
Yeah.
he's got to go get as much money as he can, man. He got
Yeah.
a family. He got kids. He got to,
Yeah.
he has to provide for them, man.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. I really, and especially him too. Kenneth Walker. He definitely go get as much as you can, man.
Yeah.
You got your Super Bowl. You're right about that. So, all right, man. So we'll catch back up on the next one coming up.
All right.
We'll connect on that.
Okay. Cool.
All right,
Later.
man. All right, later.